All right, I want IG. Beautiful. Welcome, Warriors of Love. Today we're going to be talking about how to end child abuse. It's definitely in the air. We just launched our ultimate heal your sexual trauma and money trauma program. I just finished listening to the module 5 of the program. So we launched that last week. If you guys missed it, the 3-day replays will be available till tonight on midnight. You can probably see it on YouTube if you click live. Just type Tariq BB and click on the live area, or just anywhere on my social media except for TikTok and IG. But it's on my Facebook account. Day 1, day 2, day 3. There were 3 days. Amazing healings for the inner child, for trauma, for money blocks, for sexual abuse. And so I just wanted to give you guys an update of what's happening here, like what's happening collectively. So for those of you that are not aware, because it's blown up and it's all over the place, the people of the planet have spoken and are siding and are becoming aware of sex trafficking. What is sex trafficking? Sex trafficking is when a child is kidnapped and is sold into the sex trade, where they are prostituted sometimes multiple times a day. Now, for those of you who are kind of in that world and like in the world of researching what's happening behind the scenes, this is like really old news. But what's beautiful is that now it's in the mainstream. There's a movie out called Sound of Freedom, and it is based on the true life story of a guy, ex-CIA, who goes to places where they are trafficking children, and he is rescuing the children and sending them to safe havens for them to rehabilitate. So what's beautiful is, I don't know about you guys, but if you've had your pulse on what's happening in the world, it could get to a point where you're like, wow, is there any hope in this world? Is there any good in this world? Is there anyone doing anything? So being someone who's researching all that's happening like constantly since I dropped out of college 20 years ago, to not only be aware that there's an organization, I think is not for profit, is called Operation Underground Railroad, and child trafficking. Operation Underground Railroad, yes, is his not for profit. So the wins about this, and the gentleman, this real life hero, his name is Timothy Ballard. So Timothy Ballard, through Operation Underground Railroad, here I'll just read it, is a United States-based anti-sex trafficking not-for-profit organization. It has conducted multiple sting operations, some outside of the United States, and donated technological and monetary resources to law enforcement agencies that combat sex trafficking. The organization has been criticized for its conduct during sting operations and for exaggerated claims regarding its work. That's Wikipedia. Interesting. So the movie's out. The people have spoken because what was interesting about the story of this movie is the guys who made the movie wanted to make a documentary about child trafficking. There are many documentaries about child trafficking. There are not too many movies at this level that are talking about it in like a non-Hollywood way. Like, I don't want to say non-Hollywood way, but it's like the way these guys did it is basically they're basing the movie on Timothy Ballard's actual experiences. Like, these are factual experiences that happened. So I highly recommend watching the movie Sound of Freedom. In terms of numbers, the last time I checked, it hit two was it 2 million ticket sales, or was it 200? Sound of Freedom. Check right now. 10 million. 10 million pre-sales. I think we're at 200 million or something. And they had this hashtag where it was like 200. They were trying to hit 200 million because of the 200 children. 200 million potential. I'm getting the stats wrong, so forgive me, guys. There was what was really, maybe if I go to Sound of Freedom. So, anyways, watch the movie. It was sold out when I got there. There were people wanting to get in but couldn't get in because it was sold out. And what's really important is when I watched it, yes, it shares what's actually happening, but it also um, leaves the viewer in a place of, okay, this is the beginning of the journey. They don't leave you feeling like it's the end of the world. They purposely leave the viewer being like, this is the beginning of something. So, I mean, I'm one person and already shared it on a lot of on all over my social media, doing a video about it right now. Um, integrated some of that into some of the healings that I do for my clients in terms of collectively, how can we end this inner struggle of abuser, inner child sexual trauma, not having strong boundaries, and even our shadow aspects. There's this aspect of ourselves that just wants to keep, it's like hungry. It's also connected to entity attachment. So really making sure we're being the change. We're coming in with our most clean, purified energies, intentions with others, creating safety wherever we go. So already in my life, it's been a game changer, and being able to donate to the charity. The beautiful things is the movie leaves you inspired, educated, informed, right? So the level of consciousness about this topic is, I would say, an all-time high because this movie came out the same time Indiana Jones was coming out, Mission Impossible is coming out, and the numbers that they did better in ticket sales than Indiana Jones. That's so metaphoric, guys, because this is a small independent movie distributor or independent movie production company. Small, the little guy, like David Goliath. And then you've got Indiana Jones, Lucasfilms. That's the guy who did Star Wars. Steven Spielberg, biggest Hollywood director producers. And they went head to head in ticket sales, and these guys surpassed them with a fraction of how much money those guys spent on their movie. So that to me shows the people have spoken and are saying, we're supporting this movie, this mission, this cause. And what was beautiful is everywhere on YouTube, like every podcast that I follow, they were interviewing these guys. The actor is the guy who acted as Jesus in Mel Gibson's Temptation of Christ, I think it's called. Is also one of my favorite movies. The Count of Monte Cristo, like an amazing actor, amazing. But Hollywood stopped giving him gigs after he played Jesus. Why? I don't know. Ask yourselves that question. And this smear campaign started, guys. So the first week, I was like, yeah, this is a huge victory for humanity, for truth, for justice. And then the smear campaigns begin. Why do the smear campaigns begin? Because they are worried and scared that the truth will come out and reach regular people who might catch this wave, right? This is making a lot of waves, and they were worried. And then one by one, I started seeing, mainstream news being like, "Oh my God, this movie is like exaggeration. They're conspiracy theorists. They're taking what QAnon is talking about, adrenochrome, and like satanic um, uh, sex abuse cults, blah blah blah." They don't talk about that in this movie. They don't go, even though that is true, that those things happen. They just This QAnon thing is such a great way to just have nuggets of truth in it and a lot of like untruths and extreme truths so that they can just label everyone a conspiracy nut. And they're doing it, and nice try, guys. Nice try to discredit the truth. Nice try. People who want to be brainwashed, like, free will. Allow these people who are reading scripts from Big Brother to tell people what to focus on, what not to focus on. If you are wanting to choose that reality, bless your heart. Listen to those people who are purposely wanting to keep you in the dark. If you want, if you want that, it's there. If you want the truth, find out for yourself. Check out the movie Sound of Freedom. What was so cool is the small company found the way to win at the game with the ticket sales. They invited folks to buy the pre-sales, like to buy their tickets in advance. I even had the option where I get to pay for someone else who might not have the money. So they just found the ways to win in this game, and it was so cool. So it's such a huge win. And so please watch it. Please share it please share it on social media. The trailer's out. You guys can catch the trailer. I'm in the process of working on a song inspired by this movie to help raise awareness. I'm already even thinking, wherever I end up buying land and creating community, that there's a segment of that goes to help support some of these kids that have been through this. I mean, it's an idea. I don't know if I'll fully follow through, but just letting you know that the inspiration, the ripples are already there. And one of my favorite lines from the movie is, "These are God's children, and they are not for sale." You know, these are God's children, and they're not for sale. And the amount of money that is being made off of this trade, off of this sickness, is close to the amount of money that's being made from drugs. And one of the stats they were saying is, with drugs, you can sell a bag of cocaine once, make some money, but with a kid, you can create sales multiple times a day. So, something about the darkness in the world. One of my one of the tantra teachers I really respect, and she went to India and learned it. She's like, "All the dark in the world, don't act like it's not in you. Go, that's in me too." And so it's not from a self-righteous place, evil, I'm good, I'm going to fight evil. More so from a place of raising the awareness and consciousness. More so from a place of um, justice. Like, it is not. This is our collective problem. I even believe it is the biggest pink elephant in the room. It's the biggest elephant in the room. Collectively, in the collective consciousness, it's the biggest elephant in the room that people do not want to talk about. It is not negative to talk about this. In the new age, we were brainwashed. Don't focus on the negative. Lower your frequency. So it's not, what's negative is to ignore it and stick your head in the sand and just ignore that this is happening. And what's positive is bringing it into the awareness of, if I'm an alcoholic and I'm not sharing it with anyone, then it just gains more power. But as soon as I go, my name is Tarek and I'm an alcoholic, I have alcoholic tendencies or whatever, then it's like, that's the first step. Don't they say that's the first step? with grief, with addiction. First step is to admit it. So let's first of all admit that this is happening. Watch the movie. You can even follow up and watch the documentary that they have on about Underground Railroad, which the movie borrowed scenes from that. You can help spread the word. This is not a just like Palestine, guys. Like Palestine, my where my granddad's from. It's going through a lot of shit. It's not a Palestinian issue. It's a humanitarian issue. Like when I met someone on the other day on the road who was wearing a Palestine shirt, and I was like, "Wow, thanks for wearing that. Like, appreciate the support." It's a white Canadian woman, so it's not about a religion in that example. It's a humanitarian issue. It's a just injustice issue. Sex trafficking. It's not about your religion or whatever. This is injustice, right? When a kid gets kidnapped from their family in countries all over the world. Um, it's an injustice. So, what can we do to be the solution we wish to see in the world? What can we do to remedy that? And everyone can play their part, but this is not their issue. It's our issue. These are God's children. These are our children, and we all play a part. So, what is the part that you're going to choose to play? I know we're going to add that to one of the organizations my company supports. So at the end of the month, we'll calculate how much we're making, give a percentage back, and it's a huge win. Don't fall for the manipulation that's happening now with smear campaigns. And let's start let's have a conversation like what will it take for the universe to have like imagine all the people who have that warrior instinct that are going out becoming soldiers for the system. Imagine all those people became soldiers for truth. One of my favorite parts of the movie is when he was working for the CIA and he was only limited to things that were happening in the US, but he was like, I know if I go to, I think it was Haiti or Colombia, he's like, I know I can infiltrate this gang that's doing these things. And one of the most powerful scenes is where he chose, thanks to his wife, is so it shows you the divine masculine. There's a lot of attack on the divine masculine. That's the divine masculine in action, guys. It's beautiful to witness the divine masculine in action. And it's beautiful to witness the divine feminine in the movie when he calls his wife and is like hoping and praying that she would say, don't leave your country, don't leave your job. Stay at your company and you did your part. You did what you needed to do. She was like, you're gonna go and catch these guys. So that's that divine feminine. She's holding it down at home with the kids. And now they've even adopted, they already have like 3, 4 kids, and his wife. And it's amazing to see him on these, interviews. He's so childlike, he's so positive, he's so inspired. I don't feel like he's letting this like eat him alive. And it's not something everyone can digest when you're right there in it, in the soup of it. So that's amazing to see. And it's amazing to see actors side with this mission. 2 of the actors are very in this. Jim Caviezel, or however you pronounce his name, adopted him and his wife adopted kids. The guy who the movie's based on, who goes around rescuing these kids, they've adopted 2 kids as well from these rescue missions, and they brought them. I think they're Haitian, and they brought them back. One of the things I loved about the guy who goes and rescues these kids is a lot of these kids are like 4 to 10, age 4 to 10, 12. And he already has like 3 or 4 kids, so he'll always go, okay, these kids are these ages. Okay, that's Mary, that's John. Like he'll use his kids' names and go, that's who I'm rescuing. So he, instead of allowing that to weaken him, oh my God, I'm gonna allow fear to weaken me, because what if I die? Who's gonna take care of my kids? He used his kids, his love. He used love to empower him. So there wasn't an option that he wasn't going to come back rescuing those kids, because he projected those are my kid. Like, he projected his kids onto those kids. And it's amazing to witness love in action. It's amazing to witness what people can do when they side with love and faith and justice. It's amazing. And Tony Robbins is one of the biggest supporters of this not-for-profit. There's a beautiful video on YouTube where you get to see Tony Robbins basically donate, I think it was 1 million, 500,000, something like that, from his event on his birthday. And to see all these people at his event like match and surpass what he donated, so they raised millions of dollars. And I imagine a world where, yeah, like, all these people are going fighting wars for Big Brother, so that they have opium from Afghanistan, or oil from Iraq, or whatever they're, however they're, whatever. It's like a big business mind where they're just like, me and my dad were talking about Panama today, where they make millions of dollars because of that location. Is America getting a cut of that? So it's like, imagine, and all these soldiers who are like, yes, I must defend my country. Imagine all these soldiers are like, I must defend these children, right? So there is an instinct in some men and women where it's like, I must protect. And imagine that that's being utilized for the right reasons. I must stand for truth. I must protect truth. I must protect justice. I must protect the innocence of children. So I really love that. And one of the other things that really stuck out for me in the interviews was just check out some of the interviews, because you feel the energy of this actor. It's not like you just did this random gig and is moving on. He's like in it. He's so absorbed in what he's doing in this role and the justice of it. And I can't. I wish I can quote exactly what he said, but he was like, when you are in your full power and you are doing God's work, instead of feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to be attacked, what if they kill me? He found a way to alchemize that, and he was like, it's like the hunter becomes the hunted, where he's like, they need to watch out. They need to be afraid. So it's like not taking the fear, but it's like owning your power, and then letting the fear be where it's supposed to be, with the ones doing all this bad stuff. So um, in my mind, I feel this is the beginning. I would love to see, like, one of my friends here in Toronto she was raped. And instead of her pressing charges and saying, yes, I want this guy to go to jail, she was like, I really want this guy to get therapy. And to me, that's divine feminine in action. And she's like, I need what's like, this guy clearly needs help. And I don't know if these guys have that same mindset. I think they're still coming at it from a like Christian, like, let's go get the bad guys. But what I loved about my friend is that she not only asked for this guy to get therapy, she met with him in a group format several times, figure out what's happening with his family, his children, what got him to here, like hearing from her how she was impacted. And then not only that, but she changed the law in at least Toronto, if not Canada, where others who've experienced this can have that option to offer that person, instead of just sending them to jail, to offer them the option of like remedying that disease, that illness, um, rehabilitating it. So I feel that's the next step, is talking about these people who are doing this. Let's get to the root of it. And I really feel if you get to the root of that, there is dark. If we have darkness in us, it's going to allow entities to be in those pockets. So that really requires us to do our inner work, work on our shadow selves, and heal those shadow wounds so that we're not acting from dark places, and maintaining our energy and our light body so that we're not allowing darker energies to penetrate us. So that I feel needs to be remembered as a collective. This is not something New Agers simply do, like body activations. From my research, that's something Jesus was teaching his disciples. That's something the Buddha was sharing with his disciples, how to create this light body activation. And yeah, and be the change. So what did we just birthed a program called sexual trauma and money healing program, and we're gifting you guys. It's very connected to everything I just said. It's integrating your shadow, because if collectively we all integrated our shadows, then we take the power back from the darkness and it gets integrated into the wholeness of who we are. There's no schism on our planet, dark and light. There's the yin yang. There's a integrated whole being, and the dark gets more and more powerful when you ignore it, and it gets more integrated, whole, and complete, and part of the whole when you observe it and speak about it and talk with it, and kind of address it, and you know conclude it, integrate it, process it, right? So we either feed our traumas or we heal our traumas. That's really like the decision. We're either going to feed our traumas and continue with addictions, or we're going to heal our traumas. And then you can use the energy we're using to try to feed this empty hole in our souls. You can use that to become the solution, and create positive impact, and like remember who you're here to be and what you would like to do here on this earth, and be a change, be an agent for positive change on the planet. So for those of you that are not aware, if you just go to tarikbb.com/sex and money, you'll receive the first module from our 8-week program, and it's called Integrate Your Shadow. So if you haven't already, please check it out. If it resonates, tons of people are sending us amazing testimonials just based on that one module. And me and Dr. Lisha created this program together. I'm listening to it right now myself. I am in module 5, and I've got like pages and pages of testimony of like my own money miracles, and all sorts of breakthroughs in my business and clients, and with my mission and vision, empowerment. And so it really, at the end of the day, the goal that I stand for and my business stands for is helping humanity regain their infinite freedom, empowerment, and sovereignty on all levels. So if any of that resonates with you and you'd like to do that, and when you do that, what kind of world can we create with our infinite freedom, empowerment, and sovereignty? So let's do that together. I love you guys. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon.